Hey there guys, T-Starter here, and welcome to another Master Duel video. Sorry I haven't made a video in a while. I've been busy IRL due to my busy schedule, and also trying to make a video for this deck is a bit challenging than I thought because of how many people rage quit, and also trying to get like good replays considering how many people rage quit. And yeah, you just combo like for 5 minutes, depending on how much time you use to construct a board. And yeah, depending on how they make their plays, it takes a while. And making content for this deck in particular takes a while. That's the best way to explain it. So yeah, Melodious. What is this deck about? So Melodious is a deck that uses pendulums and also fusions to make their monsters, and also use a little bit of link action to actually create some extender boards. So yeah, Melodious is a deck that I've been playing IRL for a while now, so I've been understanding the fundamentals of how to understand its combos, and it does require a bit of understanding of how to play this deck. But once you get the hang of how this deck works, it's actually pretty easy. But there are times where you can misplay and timings will not work correctly. So just keep in mind that there are things that will happen that you might not understand. And Melodious is not exactly a deck good for beginners, but it's also a good mid-range type of deck that is good against combating decks that make, how do I explain it in the most simple terms, boards that can be broken, but at the same time you can play as if you depends on what your hand is, and you can do a lot of different things. So this is the deck you can push through things. That's what I'm trying to say. This deck can push through a lot of interruptions depending on what your hand is, and you can actually do a lot of things as you play through your turn. So I'm playing free draw. The deck doesn't really search as much, but you can actually play around draw, and if you can get drawed, you can play around it by using other mechanics, such as using the refrains sending effect from deck to graveyard and adding it back from the graveyard to hand using Shapina. That's how you can easily get back your Melodious from draw. So there are multiple ways of actually playing the deck in a way that you can play around certain hand traps. So it's really good. So I'm running one Herald Angelite, 3 Maxi, 3 Sonata. You can play 2 to 3 of this. It's up to you. It's just more of an extender, but having an extender piece is actually very crucial. So that's why we're playing the actual Cannon and Sonatas. These work kind of same way, where they can special summon from your hand for free, and you can easily make a link board with Bloom Harmonist, and other things as well. I'm playing the one Aria because that is your lock in a way of you opponent cannot target, or your Melodious can be destroyed by battle. I've seen a lot of players try to attack my monster and wondering why they cannot be destroyed by battle, and they have a set impermanent stuff. Because once I know that it's you can kind of guess it's an imperm. So once you've had Aria on the field, special summon Aria on the field, if they have no way of targeting you, the timer will not activate. So that way you know that their targeting effects will not work. So Veiler imperm does not work against this deck. So as in when you have Aria on the field, so their back row literally becomes useless, and they can rage quit because they can't target you. That's one of the benefits of playing Melodious, where you cannot be targeted. It's really, really good. 2 Soprano, 1 Shapina, and 3 Refrain, and 3 Couplet. That is the main engine for the monsters. 3 First Movement Solo, 3 Ostinato, 2 Melodious Concerto. I was playing 1 in the beginning, but the second one does come up because we're playing more of a we're playing a one-off type of format. So having 2 does help. I've noticed from playtesting, and also yeah, it's been pretty good. 1 prosperity, 2 call by the grave, 1 cross out. I wish we played 3, but it's at 1. 3 imperm, and for the other hand traps, as I said, I play draw because I can play around it. Herald, it's at 1. I could play it at 3 if I had it, but yeah. 3 Maxi and 3 Ash Blossom. Enjoy spring. Running the 1 Duster, it's good for against going second, and also it's a good cross out target when you're going first, because in case your scales get dusted, or in any case something you would set, like for example imperms, or some other things as well you get set, like you get anti-spelled, you just set like these cards and you can play for next turn. That's why cross out works pretty well. But in case, I don't know how the I don't know how the interaction between anti-spell and cross out works. I think it's still works, but I don't remember exactly the interaction. But yeah, that's it for the main board. The extra deck, I'm running 2 Shiberta, 1 Bloom Diva. This does come up a few times. You can make it. It's good against it's good against versing against Tempai, but it's also good against certain things that cannot be destroyed. And also Bloom Diva does have the benefits where it just burns, so you can just continuously burn, and it cannot be destroyed by battle card effects. So that's one of the benefits of having Bloom Diva. 3 Bacha, I've seen people play 2. If you're playing a somewhat combo-ish extender type of play, and where your second one gets used, I've used 2 quite often. So the third one does come up, and it's also kind of crucial if you're trying to make comebacking type of boards. So that's why I'm playing 3, where Flowering, I'm playing 2 of this. This is your boss monster of the deck, and you do go into Bacha with it at times, because if this card face up leaves the field by opponent's card, you can summon Bacha from the extra deck. So yeah, that's where you use the combo where if your Aria is in grave, you summon Bacha, then you summon Refrain, then you go for Couplet, and Couplet allows you to special summon from your graveyard the Aria. So I'm running 1 Baguska. I'm not running Typhon because I don't think it's needed in this deck. You can make it, but I just feel like Typhon, because I'm running Underworld Goddess, that's an easy way to get around boss monsters where they cannot be affected. So that's why I'm running Underworld Goddess, to get around certain things, and you make it big boards, like very, very easily. 1 Gravity Controller, 2 of the Bloom Harmonist, 1 Agent Moon, and 1 SP, and 1 Underworld Gods. You don't have to run SP if you don't have it. You just run like other things that you can play with. So this can be replaced. SP can be replaced with anything else. So it's up to you what you want to do. But for the Bacha and Flowering, these cards minimum of 2 of, because Flowering you can make quite easily, but you can also run as a 1 of. But the second one does come up sometimes, but mostly you make it once. So that's the only thing that I would have to say if you are deck making it right now. First move solo locks you into only summon Melodious, so you can't make Typhon, you can't make Baguska, you can't make any other monsters that are not Melodious. So yeah, it's pretty simple. You might just make these 3. You make Shiberta, Bacha, and Flowering turn 1, and pray to God that you win that you survive the turn when they go second, and yeah. Basically you control their board and survive and try and win the next turn. That's how good Melodious is, where they can survive pretty easily because of Aria. Getting to Aria is your main priority of this deck when you're special summoning, and it's pretty easy to get into once you know the combo lines to get into it. So that's the deck, and I will show you some replays for this momentarily, and I hope you guys enjoy this deck profile and explanation of what my ratios are. So I'll just go through the effects one more time. And yeah, we'll go through right now. So Sonata, when it's special summon, it gains all your Melodious gains 500 attack defense. Aria can be targeted or destroyed by battle when it's special summoned. This one has a thing where it can target a Melodious and change its battle position, and you can special summon from your hand. Soprano can only be fusion. You can use the soft once per turn fusion summon type effect. That's where if you don't have the fusion card, spell card, you can use Soprano to fusion on your field. And also when special summon, you can target a Melodious monster in your graveyard and add to your hand. So it's like a free retrieval. So Sharpina allows you to add a fairy from your graveyard back to your hand, so you can recycle Herald of Orange Light or any of your other Melodious stand in your graveyard. So it's very, very good, but you cannot activate non-light monsters the turn you activate this effect. And Refrain, when it's special summon, basically when it's summoned in general, you can add a Melodious monster from your deck to your hand. If a fusion Melodious monster is special summoned to your field, you can put these into your scales, and except for during this damage step. So also, if it's pendulum effect where it can target a fusion Melodious monster, keep in mind that's very, very important. It has to have a fusion Melodious on your field, and you can target fusion Melodious monster and send, so it's a foolish barrier for Melodiouses, and it gains the attack equal to whatever you send times level times 200. So yeah, very, very good. Couplet, if it's added to hand, it's like a Poplar type of Snake Eyes type effect, where if it's added to hand except during your normal draw, you can reveal it and special summon a level 4 low Melodious from your hand or graveyard. It does come up a few times where you can summon from your hand, but also mostly you just summon from your graveyard. So that's very, very good. And also has the same effect in the pendulum scale, extra deck, where it can put itself in the pendulum scale when you summon a fusion monster, except during damage step. Melodious fusion monster. The other effects where you can add a Melodious spell trap when you have it in the scale. That's somewhat important, where you can add the Concerto. That's the only card you ever add, because Ostinato and First Move Solo do not have Melodious in their name. They have it in their effects, but they do not have it in its name, so you have to remember that. Let's see, one Duster, yeah, please explain that. First Move Solo, as I said, locks into your Melodious monsters, you can't summon anything else, and also summons a level 4 lower Melodious from your hand or deck. So the hand is somewhat relevant during the, when you have no more Melodious to summon from your deck, so summoning from your hand does come up when you're in the end game. Free Ostinato, control no monsters, you can fusion summon a Melodious, mostly Bacha, from your extra deck by sending 2 materials from your hand or deck as material. Except it gets destroyed, the Melodious will get destroyed during end phase, and you summon the materials if you have that. That does come up by one of the misplays I did during the videos, you'll see later on, and it actually does come up to my own benefit when I actually summon back the Aria. So that was my goof of my end, but I was rewarded in the end. So yeah, no, it wasn't my fault. Well, it was kind of my fault, but in a way, it was it worked to my own benefit. But most of the time, you usually link off the monster or fusion summon off the monster anyway. So the second, the effect where they summon back from the graveyard is not really relevant as much, but it does come up if you least suspect it. So keep that in mind when you do play the deck, where if you don't get rid of the monster, yeah, the monster materials does come back, and that could hinder your playstyle of the turn. Prosperity, Concerto. You can use materials from your hand, field, and scales. So this is the most broken part of the Melodious spells and traps, where you can actually fusion from anywhere except for graveyard. So yeah, very, very good. Well, except for deck as well. So graveyard and deck you can't fusion summon. So anything that you have currently knowledge of on your field and you can see. So yeah, pretty good. And also, if a Melodious monster is sent to graveyard, fusion monster, except during damage step, you can put them on the deck and draw a card. When you combo with Melodious, you do have you have times where you do have 2 to 3 chain links, and Concerto does come up. You can only each effect once per turn. Very good, very, very good, very, very good card. Roberta, this one allows you to, it's like a DD Crow, but it's a banish from either graveyard and again to stack. It's like a Barone type effect where it has its effect once face up on the field, but it's a once per face up on the field type of DD Crow type of effect where it can banish from the graveyard. Usually you can loop this with the flowering, so usually what you do is you banish this from the graveyard, use the flowering to banish it for the turn, and then bring it back next turn, and you can use it again. So because it left the field, it comes back, and you can use the banishing effect. Bloom Diva allows you combos from battle card effects, and also if battles special summon monster, your opponent takes damage. So very good. It does come up sometimes, but not all the time. So Bacha, when it's fusion summoned, your Melodious fusion monsters cannot be negated. So it's like an Autocast protocol. If you have anything else on the field, so your DD Crow base effects and your bounce cannot be negated. So if they try to target you, most of the time you already have the aria, so you can't be targeted. So very good. And also if this card is special summoned in any way, so fusion summon or special summon in any way, you can special summon a Melodious from your deck. So usually if you have aria in your graveyard or in your hand, you can go for Refrain. So summon Refrain from your deck, so special summon a Melodious from your deck. So you summon Refrain, get into Couplet, and then summon aria from your hand or graveyard. So that is very, very good when it comes to these up effects. So you can actually combo pretty well with this. Flowering and non-targeting quick effect, where it until the end you can non-target any of your Melodious monsters, and you can up to return that many face-up cards your opponent controls. So you can choose 0 cards if you bounce to your opponent's hand. So very, very good. Normally I like to, once I've used the DD Crow effect, I like to bounce it for the turn using flowering and bring it back so I can use it again the following turn. So yeah, you can manipulate your gameplay with this deck pretty well. Last but not least, the Bloom Harmonist. It's a link to Melodious monster and discard a card and special summon 2 Melodious from your deck with different levels in defense position. Keep in mind that is very, very important. So if you are summoning Melodious from your deck, normally you would go for 1 Soprano and 1 Chopina, or yeah, these two are usually cards you go for, one of these two. But if you have no more of these cards left in your deck, normally you would go for Couplet and or aria from your deck, or you would go for Sonata. Yeah, Sonata, basically any of those ones. So you go for 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, mostly those ones. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You mostly go for these 4 when you're summoning with Bloom Harmonist. But if you're out of these ones, like for example you're out of the Chopina or the Soprano, you would mostly go for aria and Couplet because they're different levels in some defense mode. So yeah, very, very good. And also if this is a Melodious, this is a Bloom Harmonist secret effect. So if a Melodious monster this card points to, keep in mind it points to left and right. So left and right. So usually I would when I return with flowering, I usually when the monster return with flowering, I usually like to keep flowering and Shiberta underneath the 2 link zones, and that's how you can make your opponent not respond when it attacks. So your opponent cannot attack. Sorry, your opponent cannot respond when your Melodious monster discard points to attack until the end damage. It's like a mini Amades, if you know old school type of cards. So your opponent cannot use effects when you attack. So normally what you do is when you have this under the link arrow, you attack and then you use the effect to bounce whatever they have. They cannot respond, and that's how you get rid of the opponent's field without being able to target. So yeah, very, very good. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck profile. Sorry, I was supposed to finish it by the time I explained the deck profile, but I explained the effects fully, so you can actually understand how this deck functions. And once you watch the replays, you'll know how this deck works. So yeah, wow, nearly took 20 minutes of explaining the deck profile. But this is in depth, and yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time when I make another video. Bye bye.